The League Cup trophy, the Capital One Cup as it is in this, the first season of a new sponsorship deal for the competition, about to be delivered down to pitch level, being carried beneath a heliosphere in front of a loud, raucous, enthusiastic gathering of nearly 90,000 people. And waiting for it, Lieutenant Sergeant Darren Buller of the 1st Battalion, the Welsh Guards. A chilly day in the English capital. 33,000 tickets went to each team and were eagerly snapped up. There is a refreshing air of novelty, not just about the delivery of the trophy, but to this occasion as a whole. The ribbons of the participants as Lieutenant Sergeant Darren Buller collects the trophy and will place it on a plinth on the touchline in front of the two dugouts. Shortly, the players will be within touching distance of it. One-nil to Wales then, on a day when much of the pre-match ribaldry and joshing inside the stadium has been on a national basis, England versus Wales. Phil Parkinson, the manager of Bradford City, closest to the camera. In the centre, the match referee Kevin Friend from Leicestershire. It will be Swansea City's first major cup final, and Bradford's first since they won the FA Cup 102 years ago, in the days when they could genuinely claim to be one of the top 6 sides in the country. Parkinson has masterminded victories over 3 Premier League sides, Wigan Athletic, Arsenal and Aston Villa, and it's brought them to this most unlikely and grand of settings as Bradford and Swansea appear in front of a Wembley full house for the Capital One Cup final of 2013. Very tribal occasion, not just club loyalties but nationalistic ones too, and for that reason there will be no national anthems ahead of today's game. The presentation party being led out by Greg Clark, the chairman of the Football League. Immediately behind him, Fabrice Muamba, who scarcely needs an introduction, the former Arsenal and Bolton Wanderers midfield player. And also part of the party, Michael Woodburn, the Chief Marketing Officer of Capital One, and David Anand, the Ambassador for Prostate Cancer UK, which is the Football League's official charity partner. The handshake's taking place to deafening noise. It's 11 months since Fabrice Muamba collapsed through a cardiac arrest midway through an FA Cup quarter-final at Tottenham Hotspur. And a special moment as well as he's introduced to 9-year-old Bradford City mascot for the day, Jake Turton, who has overcome a brain tumour and became a nationally recognised figure when joining in the celebrations kissed on his head by the captain Gary Jones after the semi-final victory over Aston Villa. Some are calling this the fairy tale final. Michael Laudrup has brought Swansea there, and if that was hard enough to envisage at the outset of the season, it was surely impossible to think that Bradford might get here as well. 2,000 to 1 outsiders in August, merely 4 to 1 today. They've already knocked out 3 Premier League teams in the last 3 rounds. And there is Mark Lawn, the joint chairman, with his wife Yvonne, who is suffering from bowel cancer and is in a wheelchair today. Jake Turton, one of the mascots, Ryan Siddle, the other. Ryan owes his life to his father Andy, who donated him a kidney a few years ago. Andy, a survivor of the Bradford City fire of 1985, which claimed 56 lives, and that is reflected in an emblem being worn on the tracksuits of all the Bradford City players today. So, to the lineups. The Bradford City team differs in only one respect to the 11 that played in the second leg of the semi-final at Villa Park. Gary Thompson starts on the right side of midfield in place of Zabon Hines. Goalkeeper Matt Duke has been a hero in 2 penalty shootouts in this competition already this season. Captain Gary Jones began his career with Swansea City some 15 years ago.
Well, it's been about organisation for Bradford, John, and belief. But do they believe they can handle the likes of Michu and the runners from behind? So it'll be a big day for Mercado and McHugh. Doyle's got the legs in there to get about. Jones, the skipper, a fairy tale end to his career if they win today. And up front, Wells will look to stretch in behind. He's got the goals, but definitely the battering ram, James Hansen.
Well, Swansea protected several players at Liverpool in the Premier League last weekend and paid the price in a 5-0 defeat. 7 changes today. All the big hitters are back except injured central defender Chico Flores. His place goes to the Korean Key, normally a midfielder. Michael Laudrup names 3 wingers, one of whom, Routledge, will occupy the space just behind the leading scorer, 18-goal Michu.
Well, has Michael Laudrup moved Swansea on? The answer has to be yes from the Brendan Rodgers era, and what an opportunity they've got here today against the League 2 side. It is a bit of a shock Key going back in there, but he can't play there. We've seen that before at Celtic. But up front, that front 4 of Hernandez, Routledge, Dyer and Michu, the signing of the season for me, could just be the difference.
Swansea's anthem, the dominant one at the moment. Welsh hymns and arias echoing around the English National Stadium. James Hansen, who 4 years ago was stacking shelves in the Co-op supermarket half a mile down the road from Valley Parade. And Key, representing the hopes of a South Korean nation which itself is on tenterhooks ahead of this showpiece occasion in London. Kevin Friend assisted today by Scott Ledger on the left and Stuart Burt there on the right. And the 2 captains, Ashley Williams and Gary Jones. Jones now 35. When he was 19, he was signed by Swansea City from Carnarvon Town. He spent much of the intervening period playing a club record number of games for Rochdale. A day with a distinct chill, a day that, just by virtue of the participants, is already historic. An inconceivable matchup in a major final, but it's happened and 90,000 are here determined to enjoy. So eagerly awaited. The Giants have fallen, these 2 remain in the 53rd League Cup final with Bradford City in their claret and amber, living the unlikely dream of so many lower division clubs. Swansea in the white, and this is key at centre-back to his partner for the day, Ashley Williams. Swansea were here 2 years ago in a playoff final when they beat Reading, inspired by a Scott Sinclair hat-trick to earn their place in the Barclays Premier League. Here's Williams. A wonderfully resonant atmosphere. Davis. Rangel. Nathan Dyer. Hernandez. Dyer. Sliced behind by Carl McHugh. "70 places on the league ladder between these teams. 6 years ago they were meeting at the same level in league football. Gary Jones. The Gushman to Dyer. Britain. Routledge. Just behind Michu. Gary Thompson having to mop up for Bradford. Ben Davis. Naki Wells. Rory McArdle.
Just a chance to take an early breather for Bradford City, I'm sure, in preparation for this game. You see young Ben Davis, who's had a fantastic period in the side after the horrendous injury to Taylor, the left back. He's done well, the youngster, but I'm sure in preparation Phil Parkinson would have said to his Bradford players, look, we're going to spend long periods, John, without the ball. It's something, playing all the Premier League clubs that they have so far, 3 of them to get to this stage, they will have been used to, but they can ill afford to lose an early goal. It's ironic really, this Swansea team probably don't pass it as much as say last year under Brendan Rodgers, but they are a threat in different ways.
Wayne Routledge. Rangel linking with Routledge, 3 waiting. No one in that position though. Leon Britton. Key. Michu. Rory McArdle. Hoisted for Will Atkinson. Wells is up in support, Hansen's in the middle. Gary Jones. Atkinson. Curtis Good, the Australian left back who's on loan from Newcastle. Atkinson, a brief taste of Premier League football with Hull City.
You can already see, John, the Bradford 2 central midfielders, Doyle and Jones, have already on 3 or 4 occasions have had a problem with the movement in behind. So whether it's Routledge, whether it's Dyer, whether it's Hernandez, as they mix and match in that pocket just behind Michu, it has caused already Bradford at least 2 problems.
Routledge. Williams. Dyer to Michu. Hernandez. Davis couldn't quite gather that one in. Bradford making history as the first team from the fourth tier of English football to play in a major final at Wembley in one of the knockout cup competitions. Rochdale, then in the old fourth division, did play in a League Cup final in 1962, but in those days it was played over two legs, home and away, and they lost to Norwich City. But what Bradford have shown consistently through this run, despite being mid-table in the bottom division, is that they have the ability to raise their game. De Guzman. Offside. Against Wayne Routledge.
Just gone in behind the left back there. You will see Routledge being flexible. He will drop in behind Michu at times. He'll switch with Dyer. It will be a headache for Bradford City today. It's something they're going to have to deal with.
And just from opposite side of the tracks, Michael Laudrup, playing for the stellar clubs of Europe. Parkinson for Bury and Reading. Ranhel. Davis. There's Carl McHugh with the clearance. Much of his week trying to assemble enough tickets for family and friends. 111 he required in all.
There's only Michu, I would say, John, out of the Swansea front six that I would imagine would be a real threat in the air to Bradford. There's lots of other problems that Swansea will cause them, but I think if they can handle Michu in that area, it's unlikely that they shouldn't lose. Even from a physical point of view, from the rest of those players, the likes of Hernandez and Routledge and Dyer, the Guzman and Britton are not physically big players either. So if they can get up the other end of the field, John, we know from this competition Bradford have been very strong from set pieces, and looking at the Swansea side, I think there could be a little bit of a problem there for them.
Atkinson. Dyer. League form has deserted them in the midst of this cup run. Duke, who's well protected by Carl McHugh in front of him. They've won only one of their last 8 in League Two. 5 defeats in their last 7 matches. Wells, top scorer with 18 goals, same number as Michu has for Swansea. Of Bermuda. Thompson. Only 2 Bradford players who cost a transfer fee. And only one of them is involved today. Hanson, beaten by Williams. Gary Jones. Michu. Hernandez. Michu. Wasn't a few with him. Four of these Swansea players started the Championship playoff final against Reading 2 years ago. Nathan Dyer, who can't reach that. Swansea. Captain Ashley Williams. Swansea 9th in the Premier League. Bradford City 11th in League 2. Hernandez, Michu, Routledge. Nathan Dyer. Van Hel. That was Davis.
He just caught Thompson sleeping, Gary Thompson, the number 11. Look at him. It's a quick look, then doesn't know he's there, and all of a sudden Davis gets the run. Mercado watching Michu, making sure he's got Michu touch tight. Matt Duke's always going to have that covered, but an unlikely goal scorer, Ben Davis. Wide players got to track full backs, can't switch off.
Strong play from Williams. Well, the big favour of Bradford was that they would concede early on. They've got through quarter of an hour.
Yeah, it's not been pretty for them in the first period of this game, but it will be what they've wanted, just to make sure they stayed solid enough.
Gary Thompson. Bradford yet to fashion their first opportunity. Routledge. De Guzman alongside him. Michu to his left. There is Michu. Dyer. Swansea lead. Goalkeeper's parry became Nathan Dyer's opportunity. One number 12 beats the other. And the Premier League side assert themselves after 15 minutes.
Well, it's ironic that when Bradford go on the attack, and I talked about that little space in behind the little pocket, that's exactly where Routledge finds himself. Bradford stretched and good at the back post, just goes to sleep slightly. I don't think Duke can do a great deal much more than that. We're right behind on the angle of it. It was nestling right in that corner, but the left back is just on his heels. Right winger Dyer is not. Simple and effective.
Thompson for Bradford. A blow to the underdogs. Nathan Dyer scoring for the second time in this competition this season. He's also on the mark in the 3-1 win at Liverpool in round 4.
Just when we were talking about a good start to the game, John, for Bradford, lo and behold, but I think it was quite plain from up here to see that that little pocket behind Michu, in front of Michu, behind Jones and Doyle in midfield, where Routledge has been operating, was going to be a problem for them. Absolutely meant that when Bradford were on the attack, and they were, that one of the midfielders had to be aware of that space.
Here's Naki Wells. Probably Bradford's most incisive attacker. Thompson. Swansea have had a chance to regroup. Doyle. McCardle. Hanson calling for it. Ranhel with the nod back to Gerhard Tremmel. The German who has been Swansea's League Cup goalkeeper all the way through. So Michel Vorm has stood down today.
A lot of the bigger clubs do that these days in the cup competitions, don't they? And it's something we've seen in this competition, the FA Cup, and even in European competitions as well. I think it's keeping everybody focused and giving them an opportunity.
Looking for Dyer, but skips through to Matt Duke. Wells. The 55th meeting of these clubs. Spread over nearly 90 years. Nothing to choose between them, 20 wins apiece. It's the first time they've met in anything other than a league fixture. Of those was 6 years ago in League One. Not just playing for the trophy today, but also for the right to play in Europe next season. Winners of this will go into the third qualification round of the Europa League. Although Bradford's joint chairman have raised the issue of whether they can actually afford to compete in Europe should they qualify. Problem to have, mind you. Hardall with Michu lurking behind him. The shaft clearance by Duke. Davis. Michu. Time for Gary Jones and his teammates. Jones, a fixture of lower division football for a decade and a half. Derby. Nathan Dyer. Gary Thompson for Bradford now. Making it comfortable for Rangel.
I think the two strikers for Bradford have got to get closer together, John. I think there's a country mile between them, and when that ball is played up to James Hansen, and that's a route they're using quite a lot, Bradford. It might be their only route, and try to knock it down. And Nicky Wells is about 30 yards away from him. We've got to play more as a partnership. Wells wants to come short, and Bradford are delivering it long, and that's leaving the big fella up front isolated. We're going to play two up front, and Bradford are going to try and play as a partnership. Otherwise, we're better off with one striker dropping another midfielder in there. It's something we're going to have to sort out.
Britton. Dyer. Hernandez. Routledge. Here comes the fullback, Rangel.
Left back just got caught sleeping a little bit again there. Curtis Good. He's really got to switch on to people running in behind him. He's getting himself a little bit square, and he's been susceptible to the ball down the inside of him on a couple of occasions.
Cardo's header. Pablo Hernandez. Dyer. To Guzman. The keeper gave Stephen Darby a shout. I think that took a clip off a Swansea player, but it's a Swansea throw that's been given. Left behind for a goal kick. Swansea leading through Nathan Dyer's goal in the 16th minute.
Yeah, the first goal, one of the few times Bradford pushed forward and got caught on the counter-attack. Feel a bit sorry for Matt Duke, who's been excellent in this competition. Unfair move to single out any Bradford player, but I think at that point he's got to hope that one of his players bail him out, and there's the frustration.
Off the pitch as well as on it. Those dressed in the claret and amber of Bradford City. Thompson. Key. Hernandez. Michu. Dyer. Hill goes again. The foul's going to go against Swansea. All around Hill's appeals.
Well, almost got messy for the full-back. Honestly, I thought Curtis Good was going to drag Rangel down, but in the end he did particularly well. Stayed on his feet.
That's up for offside. Key. Dyer. Rangel. Britton. This is Williams. Swansea's run in this competition has far exceeded anything they've previously achieved in the League Cup. Never been beyond round 4 until this season. Last year when they lost in round 2 at Division Shrewsbury. Actually got a boot to that attempted clearance by McArdle. Here's Dyer. Derby, a shout from Matt Duke. Swansea dominating possession. Phil Parkinson's men seeing 25% of the ball thus far.
Yeah, I think you're going to need a little bit more than possession than that to influence the game against a Premier League side, a very good Premier League side, confident one.
Hernandez. Stop by Curtis Good. There's McArdle on the half volley.
He could take a risk, but didn't have anybody in the box there. Swansea City. Well, this fella, Michu, has been a revelation this year, no doubt about it. A couple of £1 million from Rayo Vallecano.
Dyer. Half an hour played at Wembley Stadium, and a corner to Swansea, who lead through Nathan Dyer's goal. And they're in no hurry. To Guzman. There's Britton.
It was interesting there that Barry Jones, the skipper, just goes right back onto the line. He just vacates a massive hole right in that near post for Bradford. Wasn't the greatest of strikes for Britton. It's difficult to see at the moment, John, how Bradford are going to affect this game.
Davis. Wayne Davis. Wayne Routledge. Hernandez again. Davis. Routledge, Michu. Derby. Still to get to grips with this final.
Yeah, I'm afraid it's a bit of a football lesson at the moment for the League Two side. They don't know where to stick a twist. Naki Wells has tried to get back from his striking position to help out the two central midfielders, but it's not really working for them. And in that area, Swansea are completely dominating this cup final.
Davis. Dyer. Hernandez. Michu. Hernandez again. Nathan Dyer. And McCardle got a foot in for Bradford. Nathan Doyle. Just getting it away in the nick of time. Bradford City paying their second visit to Wembley. They won a playoff final back in the 90s against Notts County here. Swansea's fourth trip. And the second one to the new Wembley. Thompson. Doyle.
Again, John, nobody near him there. Ball forward to Hansen and nobody within 25-30 yards of him. He's getting isolated even when they attempt to play that ball. If he wins it, and he hasn't done yet, he's got nobody to nod it down to.
In this incarnation staging its sixth final of the League Cup. Last year it was an Anglo-Welsh affair as well, as Liverpool eventually beat Cardiff City on penalties. tackle. Certainly was felt by Wells. Atkinson. He will be penalised and booked.
Well, especially as it comes straight off the back of a very aggressive challenge on Wells just before that, which I think it certainly from our position looked to be a fair one. This one didn't. Not renowned for his tackling, straight through the back of Wells there. Definite yellow card. Technically very good player, both here and from his time in Scotland, but not naturally a defender.
Gary Jones. It's Michu. Stephen Darby onto the back of Routledge's scalp, and all the way back by Carl McHugh. Supporters somewhat subdued at the moment. Goal came in the 16th minute and was scored by Nathan Dyer. Now they're finding their voice. Years since Bradford claimed their only major trophy, the 1911 FA Cup. They beat Newcastle United in a replay at Old Trafford. The local paper, the Bradford Telegraph and Argus, proudly declared the next day that this was the start of something big. Not sure that that's been borne out. They've had their highs, notably 2 seasons in the Premier League just over a decade ago. But since then, 2 periods in administration. Apart from the awful tragedy of the fire in 1985. Michu. Problem for Bradford. 2-0, Swansea City. And the steal of the season, Michu, has made his mark on this League Cup final.
Yeah, Carl McHugh in the centre half got left isolated as Mercado had pushed in. Michu found that gap, was picked out by Pablo Hernandez, and then he used the centre half, he used them as a block, a shield almost to blind the goalkeeper and to take it quick, and probably a little unexpected for Matt Jute, who I thought was a little bit too far over to his right hand side, and it is a mountain to climb, and I'm afraid, folks, it's gone as expected.
Swansea doing their job and doing it very effectively. And Bradford, who've made a reputation out of upsetting the odds, face the mightiest mountain of all now. Here's Doyle. Gerhard Tremmel in the Swansea goal so far, a spectator. Dyer's escaped. Round the goalkeeper he goes, the angle is now prohibitive. Michu nearly fell for de Guzman, and it did for Rangel. Bradford now just need to get through to half-time without any further damage,
Yeah, back four's getting pulled from pillar to post, diagonal runs, little straight balls, the movement, the flexibility of the Swansea attacking players. At the moment, it's just too hot to handle for Bradford.
Routledge, he has a chance and brings a save from Matt Duke.
Well, it's difficult to know what Phil Parkinson is going to have to say to these lads, because there's no lack of fight or desire or application. They're just getting outplayed and outthought, and this is what happens when you play against players of top quality.
The Guzman taking his time. He's been urged to hurry up by the assistant referee. He's finally arrived to take the corner. Glanced off the back of Rangel's head. This is Hernandez. We're getting from the fourth official is to expect one additional minute.
I don't see a way forward for Bradford, just to continually letting Swansea have the ball at this, John. Certainly not in the situation it is now. I know Wembley is a big old pitch and they're worried about the space they're leaving behind, but they're going to have to try and squeeze this game a little bit more. At the moment they're allowing Swansea City to do as they please.
Routledge, Hernandez, Michu. Curtis Good.
Hansen saying that you're going to play it long, play it in the channel, play it down the wide positions. I've never seen a player yet that can win a header for himself and nod it on for himself, very rarely anyway. And that's what I was expecting from Bradford, you know, League Two side, haven't got the quality, knock it down the channel, squeeze up behind and have a bit of a fight for it, make the game ugly.
An uncomfortable experience for Bradford so far. Swansea to strut their stuff. Wilson Dyer and now Michu. And Swansea, 11 times winners of the Welsh Cup, halfway towards acquiring something altogether bigger. Davis. Right away off his chest. That will probably be enough to see us through to half-time. And so it proves. Nathan Dyer's goal in the 16th minute after Duke had parried Michu's effort, and then the Spaniard Michu himself adding another 5 minutes shy of the break. All pretty straightforward in truth, because Bradford have yet to fashion a chance in this 53rd League Cup final. Swansea, good value for this hefty half-time advantage. Handshakes for one or two of the players from assistant manager Alan Curtis. And Bradford looking a little bewildered and bothered as they leave the pitch for what needs to be a rousing speech from Phil Parkinson and Steve Parkin in the Bradford dressing room. Half-time score at Wembley in the Capital One Cup final. Bradford City 0, Swansea City 2. The commentary on the second half of this game will commence in 10 seconds from now. Welcome back to Wembley Stadium, where Bradford City are making a substitution ahead of kick-off in the second half. Andrew Davis is coming on in place of Australian rookie Curtis Good. Now Good was playing at left back. I think Davis will slot into centre back, and Carl McHugh will play at left back now for Bradford. No changes by Swansea. Kevin Friend, the referee, just preparing to get this game back underway. Swansea City leading through first half goals from Nathan Dyer and Michu. And Bradford didn't manage to threaten in that first period, but their supporters are up and at them already, roaring them on. Phil Parkinson has had his chance to deliver some sort of sermon. Stephen Darby is aiming to hurl this long. Just over Hansen. Darby challenges, but illegally, and it's a free kick for Swansea on the edge of their own box. Much mystification amongst the assembled masses at half-time as to why Bradford didn't give it a real go from the off, rather than allowing Swansea to settle so comfortably and so early.
I think frightened, John, frightened of the occasion, frightened of being embarrassed or being exposed, and all of those things came home to roost for them, unfortunately, from a Bradford point of view in the first half. Whilst it wouldn't pin it all on young Curtis Good, he certainly didn't. The left back have a particularly good time, got exposed on several occasions.
Picked off by Key. Dyer scored the first goal. Nearly a quarter of an hour into this final. Step over from Michu, the return to Dyer, and Nathan Dyer has Swansea's third. Two minutes played in the second half. One hand on the cup already for Swansea City.
Well, I wouldn't like to see these Bradford players being embarrassed, because it's been such a good competition for them. It's been a magnificent run, but at the moment it's black and white, it's night and day. The difference, the movement, the awareness, the little dummy from Michu, the quick feet from Dyer just to step inside. All the things you expected Premier League opposition to do to Bradford on this cup run, well, it's all coming in one fell swoop. And Michael Laudrup, what a first season he's having, and this fella.
And while Swansea danced a jig of delight, many of the Bradford supporters hadn't yet got back to their seats, having been for half-time refreshment, and are coming back to bad news on the stadium scoreboard. Hernandez. Routledge. There's Michu. Davis standing one up. De Guzman. Hernandez. Michu, header out by McHugh. De Guzman. Kovacic, the fans of League Two Bradford. Come here in such numbers and with such hope. And already with barely half this final played, I think we know pretty much where the trophy's heading. For the first time outside England. Ranhell. Here's Britain. Key. Does anything in your professional playing experience, Craig, allow you to relate to how those Bradford players must be feeling now?
Trying to think, probably, I would imagine probably a few times. I think sometimes when you just want the ground to swallow you up and the game to finish. It's very early for that, but it's a real lesson. I remember playing a friendly, John, against Barcelona when I was at Derby. We were 3-0 down after 20 minutes. I wondered why we'd taken the game on in the first place.
Here's Routledge. Swansea rampant. Williams getting the better of Wells. From Naki Wells in the build-up to this game about how he will one day be a Premier League player. His audition so far, it's not been the best. Key. That was the one surprise selection by Michael Laudrup this afternoon. Choice of Key as a central defender. Chico Flores out injured. Shows him ahead of Gary Monk and Carl Barkley. Davis. Leon Britton. Routledge. Still going, Routledge. All the way across it comes for Dyer. Ranhell. And McHugh gives it straight to Jonathan de Guzman. Nathan Dyer. Hernandez. Ranhell. Doyle. Crossed an arm, that of Davis. It's been flagged as such.
I think it might be about the first chance in the game that they've got to send the centre-halves forward, or certainly one of the centre-halves, Bradford, to ask a question from a set piece. Set pieces that we all thought before the game would be key for them if they were going to have any chance. Well, they've hardly been this far up the field.
Hansen beaten by Williams. That's Atkinson. Their visit to the Swansea penalty area by Bradford. Still noise and hope from some parts of the Claret and Amber army. Claret and Amber to some, rhubarb and custard to others. Doyle. Dyer. Routledge. Is pulled away into space beyond the far post. Here's Hernandez. Routledge. It's Davis who got to it. Britton. De Guzman. Dyer. Michu. Davis. Michu again. Like a training exercise. There's the Guzman. Oh, trip by Duke. It's a penalty, and what about the goalkeeper?
Oh, don't send them off. Don't send them off.
He has. Denial of a goal-scoring opportunity, and Matt Duke has been the hero all the way through Bradford's run. This unlikely sequence of wins over big-name opponents won't see the end of this League Cup final red-carded.
Well, I think he thinks he's going to shoot, clip it over him here, and the trailing leg catches him. He's always going to put the leg out anyway. It's a natural position to be in. Ah, dear, dear, dear. The football from Swansea was exquisite. It typified their performance. They're having a little bit of a squabble over who should take it. Dyer wants it because he's on a hat-trick here, and de Guzman might be saying, we've got a job to do. Sort it out, lads.
Well, it's supposed to be a team game, not about individuals. John McLaughlin is coming on as a substitute in place of Naki Wells. It's the inevitable consequence of Matt Duke being dismissed. And the first thing McLaughlin will have to do, a 21-year-old Scot, is to face a penalty kick, and still the debate is going on, and now one or two of Swansea's senior players are having to come in and calm Dyer down.
Well, John, the way this game's going, somebody's got to tell him you will have ample opportunities to get your hat-trick.
Well, Naki Wells came into this final with such high hopes. He's barely been able to contribute. And John McLaughlin, who was signed from non-league Harrogate Town 4 years ago and has made periodic appearances, 17 of them this season, now cast into the harshest of spotlights. Interesting to see Nathan Dyer's reaction to this. He is fuming on the edge of the penalty area whilst Jonathan de Guzman steps up. If he doesn't score, Dyer will have something to say for definite. De Guzman makes it 4. Salt into Bradford wounds. And no celebration for Nathan Dyer.
Well, it was composure personified. I wonder if he'd taken a penalty like that if the game was tight. But I've got to say, of all the celebrations for Swansea tonight, he might have been dining alone, Nathan Dyer, but it looks like he might just be joining the rest of the celebrations after all.
And Dyer's won the ball. Straight away from kick-off, here's Routledge. And there's a chance of a real rout here. Ranhel. Michu. And again Michu.
Well, the one thing we shouldn't forget here in this League Cup final is the football that Swansea City have played. Okay, the opposition isn't the strongest, we know that, but the amount of times they've played little 1-2s, give and goes in and around the fringes of the box has been, I've lost count.
Swansea are preparing to send on Gary Monk, their veteran centre-back, in place of Ki Sung-Yang. Here's de Guzman. Davis. Hernandez. Stephen Darby. Routledge, Michu, Ranhel, and Ranhel's escaped. Trailing foot of Andrew Davis. But for that, there would have been a good chance of goal number 5. Here comes Monk then. He's part of the Swansea team who 10 years ago had to beat Hull City on the final day of the season just to stay in the Football League. Huge draw from the Swansea fans to see him.
Yeah, it's nice to see Michael Laudrup giving him a run out. Would have been a huge disappointment, no doubt, that he wasn't starting, especially it was a central midfielder in Key who's playing the year position. And some will say and tell you it's a team game.
Not Nathan Dyer, he won't.
No. I think Jonathan de Guzman might have to personally make sure he gets a hat-trick, otherwise it could be a lively evening.
There is just a sense that Bradford have been somewhat overawed by the whole occasion. They did come here and visit the stadium yesterday. Tellingly, the manager didn't want the players going out on the pitch today when they arrived before kick-off. In case with so many people inside the stadium, they felt intimidated. Dyer. Wigan, Arsenal and Aston Villa have all fallen to Bradford City in the Capital One Cup this season.
I actually think that works against you, not letting the guys go out on the pitch before. I think you need to get a feel for it, especially if it's somewhere you're not used to coming, and get a feel for what's going to happen.
Michu, oh, there was Dyer lurking. Then asked the referee whether he could pick it up. The referee said no, it was a back pass. And The gulf between these sides, 70 league places, has been cruelly exposed. Harry Jones outmanoeuvred in midfield.
It's nice to come out on the pitch and get your photos and really soak things in before, make a day of it. And I do get the feeling that when they did come out, and the place was probably about 95% full when they came out, apart from a few in the corporate area, it looks as if it's just absolutely hit the Bradford players like a hammer on the occasion.
Routledge, Ranhel, then Routledge again. Friend left in an invidious position to apply the letter of law or not. And Matt Duke's trailing leg brought down a Swansea player.
Yes, I think from a referee's point of view, sentiment doesn't come into it. Obviously up here I was pretty much feeling for the player himself and the situation that he and his team found themselves in, but the referee did have no choice in the matter.
Michu, Ranhel, Michu, it's a double man block, McCardle and Davis. Here's Jones. The most one-sided League Cup final in history prior to today was in 2006 when Manchester United beat Wigan by 4 goals to 0. Danger that record could go today.
Yeah, and I think when the clubs that Bradford are put out in the Capital One Cup, think about Arsenal and Wigan, they'll really be kicking themselves, but especially Aston Villa, because they had 2 bites of the cherry. It was a 2-legged affair, the semi-final, and really looking at the gulf between the sides, Villa, being a Premier League side, albeit one that struggled this year, should have been beating this Bradford team, there's no doubt about it.
The penalty that de Guzman scored, deflating Mark Lawn, the joint chairman of Bradford City, but it was the first spot kick awarded to Swansea all season. Their biggest day of the season. Biggest day for quite a few seasons, in fact. Here's Carl McHugh. I thought that had gone out of play for a corner. So did Carl McHugh. Routledge. Doyle. Thompson. McCardle. And if there is consolation for Bradford, it comes in the form of finance. Although Phil Parkinson will be around to enjoy the fruits. Remains to be seen, he's out of contract in the summer, but they've made just short of £2.5 million from this competition. Parkinson earns less in a year than many Premier League players earn in a week. Hernandez. Britton. Hernandez! That was a burst of pace that took him almost all the way. Ranhel. Hernandez. Super skill. and a corner.
Well, as a player who's come over to England from his time in Spain at Valencia, always been a very good player, taking a little bit of time, I've got to say, to get up to speed. They've switched off here, Bradford.
And Hernandez has it. And McLaughlin plunges upon it. It came, I think, off the knee of Ashley Williams.
Yeah, I've just completely gone to sleep here from the corner. So much room there for Hernandez. Yeah, you're right, John, just off the knee of the skipper, Williams.
He knows what it's like for the group to be on the other foot. He's played his share of lower division and non-league. Ashley Williams, in fact, he and Matt Duke were teammates at Stockport County. Bradford City supporters, though, determined to enjoy their day out and still waving their flags and singing their songs. For many of them, a once-in-a-lifetime experience. And respect and applause from the other end of the stadium too. Supporters had planned for a minute's applause and flag waving when the clock reached 56 minutes in memory of those who perished in the Valley Parade fire. At that moment, Matt Duke was being sent off and the penalty was being taken, so that rather slipped beneath the radar. It's as if they're doing it a quarter of an hour late. Dyer. And Swansea have another corner. To Britton, to Guzman, Routledge, to Guzman again. Hernandez. There's Dyer. Another Bradford change, it'll be their third and final one. Zavon Hines in place of Gary Thompson.
Well, we've not seen anything of the Bradford wide players, Thompson or Atkinson, going forward. Unfortunately for those two wide lads and Thompson, who was in the side today ahead of this fella. He spent the whole game in front of his fullback, or behind his fullback even. Not seen anything in terms of getting wide and whipping it in the box. It's not been one of those days, or it has been one of those days for Bradford City. A day where it's been backs to the wall from the moment Kevin Friend blew the whistle. And really and truly, as a spectacle for the neutral, it was over a long time ago. Still backing their 10 remaining men to the hilt. is a tough place to come and play, John. I remember coming here, it was the old Wembley, obviously. It certainly was when I was a 15-year-old. I played here in front of 90,000 back then in a schoolboy international, Scotland v England or England v Scotland. It certainly sets the pulse racing. Obviously I returned a few years later with a little bit more experience on several occasions, luckily enough. But we talk about the respect between the fans. I think there was just a little bit too much respect today from Bradford City to Swansea, and they've never really asked any questions whatsoever.
Hines, formerly of West Ham. Hernandez. Swansea City on their way back into European competition for the first time in more than 20 years. Britain. Hansen. Michu. Dyer. Swansea are thinking about another substitution, and guess who's going to come off? Bearing in mind the strop we had when Nathan Dyer was denied the chance of a hat-trick from the penalty spot. Williams. It's Roland Lamar. January transfer window signing. Dyer. And Hernandez with a big deflection.
He doesn't know it yet, Nathan Dyer, but he's got about 30 seconds, I would say. He might not even have that time and have to make it before, because it's definitely Nathan Dyer. It's coming off, in fact, that's it.
Do you think that's got anything to do with the strop?
I think it possibly has, you know, and I think Laudrup, who I think is big on the team ethic, it's all about the team. I think he might have a little word, maybe not now, possibly a little bit later with Dyer, just to remind him of his responsibility. And don't let that spoil, which has been a great day. And he's he's still not happy. Come on, son, cheer up.
Well, Roland Lamar on, the 25-year-old Belgian. And there's Routledge. Bradford just needed to get rid. He's arrived Lamar on an 18-month loan deal from Osasuna in Spain. It's only his 4th appearance for Swansea. Britain. Michu. Certainly Swansea's 4th season as a top division club. Back-to-back campaigns 30 years ago under John Toshak. Promoted by the playoffs under Brendan Rodgers in 2011. 11th place in the table last season. Currently 9th this. This will be the club's first major trophy, and in their centenary season too. Hernandez to Routledge. Hernandez going again. Britain. Routledge, Hernandez. To Guzman. Ashley Williams offside. Parkinson, as a manager, has never got the better of Swansea, and that's not going to change here. Dwight Tiendali is going to be sent on. And we think in place of the young left-back, 19-year-old Ben Davies. Atkinson. Hansen. Davis to Stephen Darby. Hines. Jones. Guzman. Swansea now the best part of a week off before their next game against Newcastle on Saturday. Bradford have to go again on Wednesday night against Dagenham and Redbridge. Michu to Guzman. Britain. Hernandez. Routledge. Hernandez, Swansea enjoying certainly majority possession, vastly majority possession. And only now did Bradford get a rarity of free kick. And one last change for Swansea, it is Dwight Tiendali coming on in place of Ben Davies.
Yeah, and what an 18 months it's been for this young fella. Off the back of the serious injury to Neil Taylor, the fact that neither Brendan Rodgers nor Michael Laudrup have felt the need to go out and buy a left back, I think tells a story.
Fernandez. Lamar. Okay. Rather ironic roar. Or another Bradford free kick. Any debate over who played in goal for Swansea today, Baum or Tremmell, has been rendered redundant by the fact that Gerhard Tremmell has barely touched the ball. Maybe now. Davis. And they have their first corner, Bradford, in the 86th minute. This is being greeted like a winning goal. Providing a memorable backdrop, the Bradford fans. Jones with the kick. Of Ashley Williams. Be a Bradford ball. at half-time to Swansea. Dyer and Michu. Dyer again early in the second half. The Guzman's penalty after a foul by Duke, which saw him red-carded. Bradford goalkeeper. There's Gary Jones. Will Atkinson. McHugh, Williams, Jones. Does that count as a shot on target?
I think you'll find it does. Some ironic cheers from the Bradford City fans, not so much of a change of expression from Gary Jones, who had the strike.
First effort on target, hard on the heels of their first corner.
First, I don't think this game is any gauge of how Swansea have moved on from Brendan Rodgers. I certainly think the semi-final two-legged defeat of Chelsea is now Phil Parkinson will have to go away and fight another day at the bread and butter of League Two, and possibly somewhere else. You mentioned his contract, but I definitely think I know Michael Laudrup has added some extra steel about this Swansea City side. The football's still there. They just look a little bit more solid, and an ability to mix and match a short game and a long game when needed.
Free kick. Minor achievements, but enough to elicit huge roars from the travelling Yorkshire crowd. Hansen hung quite well that time. A glimpse of what he is capable of with the right service. Three minutes will be added on. McHugh. Zavon Hines, Andrew Davis. Hines with 3 to deal with. Matt Duke, now suited and booted, will be allowed to go up to get his runners-up medal despite the red card. He has been the emblematic player of this remarkable run for Bradford City, which began back in the second week in August with a victory over Notts County in front of 3,000 people. Hernandez. Britton. Ranhel. Michu! And then the follow-up off post and bar. Roland Lamar out of luck. Tiendali, Lamar. Something has just gone Bradford's way. It's not happened often. Ranhel. That's 5 though. Jonathan de Guzman bags his second. And Swansea are going to win this League Cup final by a greater margin than ever before in the history of this competition.
Well, we're close to being an own goal, but if de Guzman's claiming it, there might be time for him to get his hat-trick, and then he can tell Nathan Dyer all about it over a glass or two tonight. Carved open, it came off, I think, Mercado last, but he could do nothing about it. I certainly think it was de Guzman's goal.
Completing a perfect day for the team from South Wales. 52 previous finals in this competition under 6 previous sponsors. None will finish with as one-sided a scoreline as this one. Stephen Darby. Bradford's players, having created history, will have a nagging feeling as they head home, and in subsequent days and weeks that maybe they didn't fulfil their potential on this broad stage. They were inhibited rather than expansive. Hernandez. Time now up. Pablo Hernandez. Swansea City win their first major trophy in their centenary season. Tremel a spectator. Michu a goal scorer as per usual. 2 from Nathan Dyer, 2 from Jonathan de Guzman. And Swansea City made sure that class told in the end, and the Capital One Cup is heading to South Wales. Craig Burley, your thoughts?
Well, I think Bradford City will remember this competition all the way through to the semi-finals, but it's a match and an occasion they'd like to forget. Nathan Dyer got it all started, got the ball rolling with his 2 goals, de Guzman as well, and to a man, Swansea were just class apart. Big pitch here at Wembley, John. Pressure was on, and there only ever looked like one team going to come out on top from the first minute until the last. But a heroic effort from Bradford.
Gary Jones urging some of his teammates to go to the Bradford supporters, who almost to a man, woman and child have stayed to the end, savouring every last moment, wringing every last second out of this special day. The presentation will take place in a few minutes' time. Bradford made history by getting here. Swansea have made history by winning so handsomely. Full-time score in the 2013 Capital One Cup Final, the English League Cup Final at Wembley Stadium in London, reads Bradford City 0, Swansea City 5. Players heading down towards the Yorkshire end of Wembley Stadium. And despite the magnitude of the defeat, the welcome they're getting is a memorable one as we look too at the celebrations of Swansea City. 10 years ago, Swansea were nearly extinguished from the football scene when they came within one bad result of dropping out of the league. Bradford have had their desperate times too, but this is one that their supporters have anticipated and have savoured when it arrived. And one or two of the Swansea players as well have gone down to the Bradford end of the ground, notably Nathan Dyer. John Toshak, the manager of Swansea when they had their previous most successful spell 30 years ago in the top division. Goals today, 2 from an Englishman, 1 from a Spaniard, 2 from a Dutchman. The four amigos very much to the fore. Chico Flores missed out on the day but has played a big part in the run. De Guzman on the mark twice, and Nathan Dyer, despite the strop when De Guzman asserted his authority and demanded to take the penalty when Dyer was on a hat-trick, very much one of the stars of Swansea's show.
Yeah, I think even the Swansea players must have wondered what was going to happen when Brendan Rodgers departed for Liverpool. Michael Laudrup coming in, such a big name in world football as a player, but not as a coach, and he's gelled these players. He's made some key signings, especially Michu and Hernandez, De Guzman, right down the spine of the side. Ki Sung-young, who played centre back the day arrived from Celtic, and they wouldn't even have dreamed of a cup final at the start of the season. And let's hope from a Swansea perspective they can take that on now and grow from it, John, and finish the season well in the Premier League. But it's been a great day for the Welsh club and the thousands of supporters that have travelled. Another player who's been there many a year.
Yeah, Leon Britton, who played in that game nearly 10 years ago, which they had to win to stay in the league. Matt Duke, who was sent off 12 minutes into the second half with the denial of a goal-scoring opportunity. Hitherto Bradford's hero in this competition, and today cast in a rather different role. Well, the order of events from this point on, we'll see the match officials presented with their medals by Fabrice Muamba, the chief guest today. Then the runners-up will go up, and then the winners, Swansea, who will receive the Capital One Cup. Well, it takes us back 20 years to Steve Morrow breaking his arm in a post-cup final celebration at this ground, having played for Arsenal against Sheffield Wednesday on this occasion. Well, maybe a sore back for Hernandez, but no lasting damage.
It's okay when you're on the top, but not when you're lying beneath at least half a dozen 14-stone players.
Chico Flores out there with the sombrero. Denied participation today because of an ankle problem.
I can tell you it's not actually that warm here at Wembley. Sleeveless. It's been a very bitter day, but not a bitter day for the Swansea fans.
Well, whilst we watch these scenes, the match officials led by Kevin Friend have gone up to the royal box and they've received their medals, and now the cameras focus on the runners-up, Bradford City. Players, including the man in the suit there and tie, Matt Duke, the goalkeeper who was sent off. Players who have captured the hearts of a football nation with their exploits this season. First fourth-tier side in history to make it through to a major cup final at Wembley. And having dispatched Premier League opposition in Wigan, Arsenal and Aston Villa in rounds 4, 5 and 6. Gary Jones, a proud day for him despite the result. But he dreamt it differently last night. He thought he would be coming up just that little bit later to collect the trophy itself rather than the consolation of a runners-up medal. And Swansea supporters applauding politely. Mark Lawn with the spectacles, the joint chairman, who has helped to rescue the club along with Julian Rhodes from the darkest pit of a financial mess that was left following 2 seasons in the Premier League. Phil Parkinson. Those two need to talk about a new contract.
He's obviously hugely disappointed. You can see that in Phil Parkinson, how it's hurting, but really and truly they cannot be disappointed with themselves. I hope they enjoy their evening. The disappointment for me, having been in this position in cup finals, will quickly ebb away, and you've got to move on. And a lot of the Bradford fans who have been magnificent today again have stayed to applaud the side as they await the best team on the day, Swansea City, by a country mile. And that Premier League quality, John, was there from the start.
Well, what's nice about this occasion, which has been so refreshing throughout, is that normally half the stadium empties as soon as the final whistle goes. The losing supporters go home, tails between legs. But this time around, the vast majority have stayed to savour the atmosphere and milk every last moment from this special occasion, and to applaud Swansea City as they go up very shortly to receive their winners' medals and the trophy itself. Swansea, who are wearing their centenary kit. It is their centenary season. Prior to this year, they'd never gone beyond the last 16 of this competition. 2 FA Cup semi-finals, 11 times winners of the Welsh Cup. And what's a really nice feature is that Swansea's players, unprompted, are forming a guard of honour to applaud Bradford City down the steps from the royal box. Gesture that brings great credit on Swansea City. So that's Bradford's moment, and now the stage belongs to Swansea City. Used to be a relatively short walk, 39 steps famously. In the redeveloped Wembley it's 107, with a couple of landings along the way. But they won't begrudge the time and effort that this takes. It's not as if Swansea have been laden with us down the years.
Well, I wonder about Ashley. Such a a good turnaround in a career for him, and there has been talk about Liverpool and one or two others joining his old manager. I'm sure Michael Laudrup will be desperate to keep all his top players.
Hugh Jenkins, the chairman, the former youth team goalkeeper, in the centre of the picture. He was instrumental in rescuing Swansea from potential financial oblivion. And now he waits for his players and his manager to climb the steps to meet him in the Royal Box. Last year, Cardiff came so close against Liverpool to becoming the first Welsh team to win this trophy. And now Swansea have managed it the following season. And there is a plan being hatched. Ashley Williams did say as captain that he wanted to go up and collect the trophy with Gary Monk because of Monk's much lengthier association with the club. Swansea supporters striking up more hymns and arias. And looking forward not just to the lift of the trophy, but to the prospect of European football at the Liberty Stadium and beyond next season. They'll be playing in the third qualifying round of the Europa League for the first time in 21 years. They have European football as an added dimension to look forward to. So leading the way, Swansea's captain Ashley Williams, and just behind him the long-serving Gary Monk. A handshake from Bradford's joint chairman. Greg Clark waits with the trophy. Fabrice Muamba will present it. The Capital One Cup heading for South Wales. 10 years ago, this would not have seemed possible. Even at the start of the season, it would have appeared hugely unlikely, indeed implausible. But that's the beauty of this competition. 10 years ago, ugly ducklings, handsome swans today. The League Cup will reside outside England for the very first time in its history. Swansea's day and Swansea's joy.
This program is brought to you by Bet365.com, the world's biggest online sports betting company.
Hello. I'd like to tell you about Bet365.com, the world's biggest online sports betting company. The reason why they're the world's #1 is very simple. They do great odds on a massive choice of sports. And guess what?